Well, 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 guess who's back? Nick Dunne, Brooklyn party boy, sugar cloud kisser, disappearing act. 8 months, 2 weeks, couple of days, no word, and then he resurfaces like it was all part of the plan. Turns out he'd lost my phone number. His cell was out of juice, so he'd written on a sticky. Then he tucked the sticky into his jeans pocket and put the jeans in the washer, and it turned the sticky into a piece of cyclone-shaped pulp. He tried to unravel it, but could only see a 3 and an 8, he said. And then work clobbered him, and suddenly it was March, and too embarrassingly late to try to find me, he said. Of course I was angry. I had been angry, but now I'm not. Let me set the scene, she said. Today, gusty September winds. I'm walking along 7th Avenue, making a lunchtime contemplation of the sidewalk bodega bins, endless plastic containers of cantaloupe and honeydew and melon, perched on ice like the day's catch. And I could feel a man barnacling himself to my side as I sailed along, and I corner-eyed the intruder and realized who it was. It was him, the boy in I Met a Boy. I didn't break my stride, just turned to him and said, A, do I know you? Manipulative, challenging. B, oh wow, I'm so happy to see you. Eager, doormat-like. C, go fuck yourself. Aggressive, bitter. D, well, you certainly take your time about it, don't you, Nick? Light, playful, laid back. Answer, D. Now we're together. Together. It was that easy. It's interesting, the timing. Propitious, if you will, and I will. Just last night was my parents' book party. Amazing Amy and the Big Day. Yep, Rand and Mary Beth couldn't resist. They've given their daughter's namesake what they can't give their daughter. A husband. Yes, for book 20, Amazing Amy is getting married. Whee! No one cares. No one wanted Amazing Amy to grow up, least of all me. Leave her in knee socks and hair ribbons and let me grow up, unencumbered by my literary alter ego, my paper-bound better half, the me I was supposed to be. But Amy is the Elliott bread and butter, and she served us well, so I suppose I can't begrudge her a perfect match. She's marrying good old Abel Andy, of course. They'll be just like my parents. Happy. Still, it was unsettling, the incredibly small order the publisher put in. A new Amazing Amy used to get a first print of 100,000 copies back in the 80s. Now only 10,000. The book launch party was, accordingly, unfabulous, off-tone. How do you throw a party for a fictional character who started life as a precocious moppet of 6 and is now a 30-year-old bride-to-be who still speaks like a child? Sheesh, thought Amy. My dear fiancé sure is a grouch monster when he doesn't get his way. That is an actual quote. The whole book made me want to punch Amy right in her stupid, spotless vagina. The book is a nostalgia item, intended to be purchased by women who grew up with Amazing Amy, but I'm not sure who will actually want to read it. I read it, of course. I gave the book my blessing multiple times. Rand and Mary Beth feared that I might take Amy's marriage as some jab at my perpetually single state. I, for one, don't think women should marry before 35, said my mom, who married my dad at 23. My parents have always worried that I take Amy too personally. They always tell me not to read too much into her, and yet I can't fail to notice that whenever I screw something up, Amy does it right. When I finally quit violin at age 12, Amy was revealed as a prodigy in the next book. Sheesh, violin can be hard work, but hard work is the only way to get better. When I blew off the junior tennis championship at age 16 to do a beach weekend with my friends, Amy recommitted to the game. Sheesh, I know it's fun to spend time with friends, but I'd be letting myself and everyone else down if I didn't show up for the tournament. This used to drive me mad, but after I went off to Harvard, and Amy correctly chose my parents' alma mater, I decided it was all too ridiculous to think about. That my parents, two child psychologists, chose this particular public form of passive aggressiveness towards their child was not just fucked up, but also stupid and weird and kind of hilarious. So be it. The book party was as schizophrenic as the book. At Blue Night off Union Square, one of those shadowy salons with wingback chairs and Art Deco mirrors that are supposed to make you feel like a bright young thing. Gin martinis wobbling on trays lofted by waiters with rictus smiles. Greedy journalists with knowing smirks and hollow legs, getting the free buzz before they go somewhere better. My parents circulate the room hand in hand. Their love story is always part of the amazing Amy's story. Husband and wife in mutual creative labor for a quarter century. Soulmates. They really call themselves that, which makes sense because I guess they are. I can vouch for it, having studied them, little lonely only child, for many years. They have no harsh edges with each other, no spiny conflicts. They ride through life like conjoined jellyfish, expanding and contracting instinctively, filling each other's space liquidly, making it look easy, the soulmate thing. People say children from broken homes have it hard, but the children of charmed marriages have their own particular challenges. Naturally, I have to sit on some velvety banquet in the corner of the room, out of the noise, so I can give a few interviews to a sad handful of kid interns who've gotten stuck with the grab-a-quote assignment from their editors. How does it feel to see Amy finally married to Andy? Because you're not married, right? Question asked by A. A sheepish, bug-eyed kid balancing a notebook on top of his messenger bag. B. An overdressed, sleek-haired young thing with fuck-me stilettos. C. An eager, tattooed rockabilly girl who seemed way more interested in Amy than one would guess a tattooed rockabilly girl would be. D. All of the above. Answer? D. Me. Oh, I'm thrilled for Amy and Andy. I wish them the best. Ha ha. My answers to all the other questions in no particular order. Some parts of Amy are inspired by me, and some are just fiction. I'm happily single right now, no able Andy in my life. No, I don't think Amy oversimplifies the male-female dynamic. No, I wouldn't say Amy is dated. I think the series is a classic. Yes, I am single. No able Andy in my life right now. Why is Amy amazing and Andy's just able? Well, don't you know a lot of powerful, fabulous women who settle for regular guys, average Joes and able Andys? No, just kidding, don't write that. Yes, I am single. Yes, my parents are definitely soulmates. Yes, I would like that for myself one day. Yep. Single, motherfucker. Same questions over and over, and me trying to pretend they're thought-provoking, and them trying to pretend they're thought-provoking. Thank God for the open bar. Then no one else wants to talk to me, that fast, and the PR girl pretends it's a good thing. Now you can get back to your party. I wriggle back into the small crowd where my parents are in full hosting mode, their faces flushed, Rand with his toothy, prehistoric monster fish smile, Mary Beth with her chickeny, cheerful head bobs, their hands intertwined, making each other laugh, enjoying each other, thrilled with each other. And I think, I am so fucking lonely. I go home and cry for a while. I am almost 32. That's not old, especially not in New York, but fact is, it's been years since I even really liked someone. So how likely is it I'll meet someone I love, much less someone I love enough to marry? I'm tired of not knowing who I'll be with, or if I'll be with anyone. I have many friends who are married, not many who are happily married, but many married friends. The few happy ones are like my parents. They're baffled by my singleness. A smart, pretty nice girl like me, a girl with so many interests and enthusiasms, a good job, a loving family, and let's say it, money. They knit their eyebrows and pretend to think of a man they can set me up with. But we all know there's no one left. No one good left. And I know that they secretly think there's something wrong with me, something hidden away that makes me unsatisfiable, unsatisfying. The ones who are not soulmated, the ones who have settled, are even more dismissive of my singleness. It's not that hard to find someone to marry, they say. No relationship is perfect, they say. They who make do with dutiful sex and gassy bedtime rituals, who settle for TV as conversation, who believe that husbandly copulation, yes honey, okay honey, is the same as concord. He's doing what you tell him to do because he doesn't care enough to argue, I think. Your petty demands simply make him feel superior or resentful, and someday he will fuck some pretty young coworker who asks nothing of him, and you will actually be shocked. Give me a man with a little fight in him, a man who calls me on my bullshit, but who also kind of likes my bullshit. And yet don't land me in one of those relationships we're always pecking at each other, disguising insults as jokes, rolling our eyes and playfully scrapping in front of our friends, hoping to lure them to our side of an argument they could not care less about. Those awful, if only, relationships. This marriage would be great, if only, and you sense that the if only list is a lot longer than either of them realizes. So I know I'm right not to settle, but it doesn't make me feel better as my friends pair off and I stay home on Friday night with a bottle of wine and make myself an extravagant meal and tell myself, this is perfect, as if I'm the one dating me. As I go to endless rounds of parties and bar nights, perfume and sprayed and hopeful, rotating myself around the room like some dubious dessert. I go on dates with men who are nice and good-looking and smart, perfect on paper men, who make me feel like I'm in a foreign land, trying to explain myself, trying to make myself known. But isn't that the point of every relationship? To be known by someone else? To be understood? He gets me, she gets me. Isn't that the simple magic phrase? So you suffer through the night with the perfect on-paper man, the stutter of jokes misunderstood, the witty remarks lobbed and missed. Or maybe he understands that you've just made a witty remark, but unsure of what to do with it, he holds it in his hand like some bit of conversational phlegm he will wipe away later. You spend another hour trying to find each other, to recognize each other, and you drink a little too much and try a little too hard, and you go home to a cold bed and think, that was fine. And your life is a long line of fine. And then you run into Nick Dunne on 7th Avenue as you're buying diced cantaloupe, and pow, you are known, you are recognized, the both of you. You both find the exact same thing worth remembering. Just one olive, though. You have the same rhythm, the same click. You just know each other. All of a sudden, you see reading in bed, and waffles on Sunday, and laughing at nothing, and his mouth on yours. And it's so far beyond fine that you know you can never go back to fine. That fast, you think, oh, here's the rest of my life. It's finally arrived.